Hi, good afternoon. Hope you enjoyed your lunch and are raring to go for this afternoon. So my name is Lee Norvall. I'm the CEO of blocz, and basically what we are doing is decentralizing the edge. So, what does edge mean? And probably to many people, it's many different sort of aspects of providing compute and storage at the edge. But we've been taking a sort of a long view at how we do this, and we're taking a Web 2.5 approach, being able to provide both traditional Web 2 services, but address the more emerging Web 3 solutions. So as part of this, we're part of, and we're founding members of the Open Grid Alliance. So we work with the likes of Vapor, VMware, Dell Technologies, and a few others there, big names that you can see. And we're basically taking the approach that the internet is broken. It's not really going to be, longevity of it is not there for what we need to do over the next coming 2, 5, 10 years. And it's how do we create this new internet and how do we scale it? And that really involves edge, on many fronts. So the importance of edge, realistically, is some aspects of data has gravity to it, and currently it gravitates centrally. So it's going to large hyperscalers, it's going upstream, and when you request the data, it then comes back downstream. What we're looking to do is move the compute, the storage, the network closer to where the end users create the content and use the content, so we get sort of economy of scale, we get high-speed networks and everything that comes with that. So we're currently working on a POC in Las Vegas. This is our smart city pilot, working with our partner Vapor to deliver real-life edge solutions. So we've taken micro-edge data centers. These are placed in locations throughout Vegas. And why Vegas? There's huge amounts of data. There's no way about it. 40+ million visitors a year. We've got smart hospitals, smart airports, we've got autonomous vehicles. And one of the key projects that we're really working on is CCTV feeds, so the data around this. So the aspects that we're looking at bringing that is an element of health and safety. So for example, the camera feeds that we've got coming into the network, they're around about 5 megabits per second. Initial pilot is for 150 cameras, but we'll have AI running at the edge. And then what we're looking to do is look for certain models within that, for example, a trip and fall, so that then we're like recording that for prosperity, recording it, which then goes on to some of the back-end solutions, IPFS, Filecoin, whatever we need to do to record it. It's it's a great project, and we've got more models that we can apply to it, like smoke and fire. And then you've got sort of elements that come out of this, some real sort of cool bits that start to happen, where you start looking at, if we then was monitoring a highway and there's an accident, could the AI infer rather that this is a hip injury, and then notify the AI within the healthcare system that we need to start triaging this, and then basically the patient is on the way to hospital. So there's some real cool bits that we're looking around that. Data growth from CCTV is going to be exponential over the next couple of years. It's one of the always has been quite growing. But again, the elements of, as the quality of CCTV increases, so does the data storage requirements. And that's where we're really sort of focusing on at the moment for this pilot and how we address that. This is what it actually looks like. So, this is physical locations within Swenson and South Jones being installed. So it's basically 2 racks of hardware. So compute, storage, it connects to the Dish 5G network, private 5G. And then on the South Jones side there, you can see a cabinet where we've got the high-speed fiber optic cable coming in. And this gives us ultra low latency to the local area. So it becomes a user case, not just for the compute, the storage, but how we ingest the data. It becomes an ideal place for gaming at the edge, metaverse, AI, and the statistical sort of combination. And that's where the Bacalhau project comes in, because we can take data into these locations. We can take in 100 gig, for example, run some inference on it, and then end up with a 6 gig, data results from that side. So we're hoping to solve issues of, high-speed data links in the backhaul of the network, but also, the amount of data that actually needs to transition these networks, so reducing costs in the long term as well. So going through Vegas, we have a number of other locations that we're looking at, again, with our partner Vapor, so Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta, and we'll be replicating the models that we're doing here to go through and look how we grow this. It's a real challenge to basically be able to provide a lot of the compute and data, and this is one of the reasons we are looking to decentralize the edge. If you took a number of large-scale service providers, put them together to become a super company, they realistically couldn't still afford to roll out edge. You need lots of thousands, hundreds of thousands of locations, and this is why our model we'll be working on next year will help to decentralize the edge by taking all the information that we've learned and gathered and be able to work with other partners, people that want to provide their own edge locations, and then basically build out and join the network. So there's a long-term strategy. There's a short-term strategy, and basically at the moment what we are looking to try and do is find out what the questions are before we actually find out what the answers are. It's still a pretty new scenario. So as part of our edge strategy, we're talking about sustainability. So here we're working on a project, for example, and this is actually in conjunction with Filecoin Green, and this is a 3D printed server chassis. So it's actually made from recycled ocean plastic. And basically what it allows us to do is rather than shipping heavy server cases around, we can actually print the 3D chassis in situ to where the edge locations are. It's also immersive technology, which means it's like a self-contained case. We fill it with liquid, which helps to cool the compute, and it's far more efficient than the general sort of air-cooled power. And then the final bit that we're looking on this is that we're actually taking the byproduct, which is the heat, we take it out the back of the unit, and then this can be put into local district heating solutions. It can go into greenhouses. So again, we're just taking what would have been a waste of the byproduct and making much more use of it. So basically what we're looking to do, and the invitation here is look into what is available at Vegas. If you want to join us, it's an invitation that you can have access to some of our compute, some of the storage. We'll be growing a marketplace actively within the Vegas marketplace and all the other locations. So if you're looking to provide Web3 applications, tools, tool stacks, etc., then we'd love to have a chat with you. But other than that, look us up on Slack, send us an email. We'd be happy to have a talk. Thank you.
When you're working with these local governments and such, it's always interesting to think about, from the user or potential user's perspective, how they perceive our space. Are there certain ideas that you lead with that resonate better with them? Maybe it's cost, or maybe it's openness, or whatever. Are you finding any value propositions from this space that seem to resonate better?
I think, there's a lot of sort of elements to it. Is the one is obviously cost, the depreciation around that, particularly when you're talking about the smart airport could potentially do 8 petabytes of data a month. To store that, it needs to be as cost effective as possible. It's also the speed at which we can deliver the solutions as well, is always key to doing this. And again, it's part of the new world of the applications that we can do, decentralized, distributed, high availability. And again, Edge is still very new, even in the Web 2 space. So it's still being discovered, and it's a great time now to involve Web 3 applications within this build as we're going forward.
Cool to see all the environmental joined-up thinking. But these boxes, the physical ones at the station north and south, are quite small.
Yes.
So what's the security around that? Drive a truck into them or so?
Yeah, so they're normally placed within geographical locations that make sense. They're ring-fenced with security around them, etc. But each location, and some of these boxes do have like CCTV on them. There's real-time monitoring on them, etc., and things like that. The other thing about doing Edge is that there's more of it. So again, where you literally have a big data center, and if that fails over, it affects everyone, we can do high availability where if a small location falls down, we can roll it over to another small location quite quickly. So, we're kind of trying to anticipate and things like that.
No, I'm with you on all that. Could someone like Jack 1, or are they all like sandboxed? Because then you could take over the city.
No, yeah. So I mean, obviously the security is key to it. We are not the only provider in that side, and part of the elements of being decentralized and what we can do in there means that we don't have the ownership on all of the applications, maybe some of the hardware and how that pins out. But that's the bit where we need to have multiple people in there with the ownership and the census of, and consensus of driving all.